Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very last TF2 match, not to include a full-time pyro. My name is Cornpop, and along with Marxist, we will be your caster tonight. And tonight's camera work will be done by Gabe. Marxist, there's only like seven players left in the server, or currently in the server. So normally we would wait a bit before going live, but there's so much to talk about. There's so much going on in the game that I wanted to get going a little early. So why don't you introduce these teams, and then we can start talking about this match.
All right, sounds good. So we've got SVIFT. There are rumors that they will have their normal 6 tonight, so I'll read them off. 404, Delpo is on demo. Garbuglio, aka Purple Shirt. High Five are your soldiers. Slemnish and potentially Tiger, if you remember to wake up, will be on scout. But they said they are not forfeiting and do have 6. So they've got somebody to play scout over there. And then over on the other side, for Froyo, your typical folks, Shade on Medic, Assassin, aka Habib on demo. Sigh and Blaze are now your soldier pair, and Eric and Banny are the scouts. Sigh has already played matches with them. It isn't super new, but it's the 1 to 2 week freshness. But yeah, so we'll run you down this update thing, since I assume for some players out there who've only been around for 2 years or so, this will be your first really big change to the game.
Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of really interesting things. Today we didn't get the whole balanced list, but we got like all the new pyro weapons. So I don't know, there's some interesting stuff here. The Dragon's Fury is like a flamethrower for the pyro, but it shoots a fireball. It's a single shot type of thing. And I'm actually that's the one I'm probably most excited for, because the way I'm hearing it, it's basically like a fire rocket launcher or a fire grenade launcher for the pyro. And I'm hyped to see pyro air shots, Marxist.
And it fires faster if you hit.
Yes, it does do that.
So if you're point blank, that could honestly, all I'm looking forward to is the gas can, where you can like pour the gasoline on people and then set them on fire. That I think that would be the height of comedy for me.
I think it's hard to tell. It doesn't really describe it, but I think it's like a thrown projectile, kind of like Girardi or Mad Milk.
So yeah, and then you light them on fire.
No, that would be good. I'm excited for the pyro bombs, where he flies above with the jetpack and then he just drops gas canisters onto you. Oh, they're both secondary weapons. Never mind. That'll never happen, Marxist.
Yeah, that dream will never come true. But he could fly past you and slap you real quick.
Yeah, that weapon seems funny. I don't know if he actually is wearing that glove, or if he just holds the glove and like slaps people French style. You know, I challenge you to a duel. That sort of thing.
We'll find out tomorrow.
We will. Update drops tomorrow. So there's supposed to be a match tomorrow that we're casting. What do you say the odds are that actually goes through, though, Marxist?
0.00000001. There will probably be no match tomorrow, but maybe we could do a celebration stream, because I mean, these things, if you were here from the beginning of TF2, you'll know, but if you haven't been, these sorts of class changing updates used to come like every 4 to 5 months. And they would sometimes pretty radically alter the way the game played, along with adding cool new maps, which were usually fairly well liked, at least at first. So we'll see. I think this is the first time we've had a really big update like this in quite a while. So that wasn't just adding like one little, like adding matchmaker. It didn't, but not a lot of big changes. So we'll see, Cornpop. I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I'll be pubbing tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. I know I'll play. I've got so much homework to do, but I will find time to play TF2. I have no doubt in my mind, because
the homework will always be there, Cornpop.
Yeah, well, until it's due, and then it's late, and I didn't do it, and I get a 0. But...
Well, yeah, but the first day of the pyro update.
And kids, just don't do your homework. Go play TF2 instead. It's a great game. And yeah, there was a couple other pyro changes that were mentioned. Like some air blast changes, some just like afterburn changes, some flamethrower changes. I don't know if you've read them, Marxist. They seem overall good. I don't know how game-changing, game-fixing they will be. Pyro in the past has been really buggy, really weird with the way the flamethrower and air blast work. So if that gets fixed, it'll be a positive. I'm glad for that, although it's not the most interesting thing on the page, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, presently it's not a consistent cone shape because if they time it just right, if you shoot a pyro in the back with a projectile, it will reflect at you if the
Yeah.
air blasts at just the right time. So it's less of a cone and more of a bubble. And supposedly it's going to be a special cone, but it'll work right. Afterburn has also been altered so that it's based on the amount of time the target has been burning. So if you just like puff somebody and run away, then their fire will go out right away. Or at least soon. So that could be interesting. I would say more for Highlander applications because you use pyro for spy checking so much that if they just hit the spy with a puff and he goes out like a second or two later, then maybe he escapes when he normally wouldn't. That could be interesting, but it also makes life better as some other classes where you just happen to get a pyro around a corner and then you're gonna burn to death because no one plays medic.
Yeah, I think in pub games that's probably going to be where that change is seen the most. Just because it's kind of like a small thing and just is more like the random flame particle that's going to hit you, which isn't usually so random in a competitive game, but who knows? Overall, I think it'll be a good change. I'm excited for the jetpack. I've been joking for years that they should just give Pyro a jetpack, and then they actually did it. And I thought that was really funny. From what I'm reading in the patch notes, again, it's really hard to tell because they're not specific at all, but I don't think it's going to be super good. It seems like it's almost just like a super jump. I don't know, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, originally, back in the beta, when they had the open beta testing, they did let the flare gun let you jump, which, I mean, you can do today, but the jump you get off of it's really low. It did let you get pretty high. There were, if you're familiar with Viaduct, our match tonight, you would not have been able to jump up into China with it unless you were really lucky. But you could clear some other low-hanging obstacles that Pyro normally couldn't. And then for whatever reason, they nerfed that down to what we have now, where it's like a slight extension of a hop. But the other neat thing is when you are air blasted, this will impact sixes. Now, when you are air blasted, you will maintain more control over your own body.
Yes. I don't know. Still, the keyword is more, though, right? Like, how much is more? We'll have to wait till tomorrow, Marxist.
Well, presently we don't have hardly any.
Yeah, I think it's none. I think you're completely stunned when you get air blasted.
You can kind of surf out of an air blast if you have maneuvering room. The thing with sixes is most of the time when it's a case of you're going to be air blasted now, there is no room to move, and so you're just trapped completely. So we'll see. That may change some last defenses, particularly Badlands, which we've not seen this season yet, out for Pyro.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how the leagues adapt to this as well, because I think the official ruling is everything is banned until the end of the season.
That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Any new unlocks will be banned until the end of the season, which will give people plenty of time to pub and pug with them. And then any stock item that happens to get changed, like Pyro itself, then we just have to live with it for better or worse, as they inevitably will tweak certain things in a week or two.
Yeah, and we also have yet to see what the balances for Pyro's existing weapons are. So I don't know how big of a deal those will be. They didn't preview them when they previewed the rest of the balance changes. Remember, like a few months ago, they put out a big list of changes they were considering on doing. None of those were Pyro weapons, so we have no idea what they've got in store. It's a complete mystery. It could. I kind of expect it to be something. But yeah, it could be nothing.
But it looks like we've got everybody in here, just about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Tiger here?
He's not, and guess who's replacing him?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Marmaduke Grills is back in the game. I'm excited.
Yep, I'm a fan of the Marmaduke. It fits for a team that has a pretty competent scout on soldier. It makes more sense to have a competent soldier than a sleepy British person. But we'll see.
Yeah,
Marmaduke hasn't got to play in a while. He did ironically post that he felt he was being passed over in these team pickups. So maybe Marmaduke has found his new forever home.
well, it's not a bad home either because SVIFT NA, they're looking pretty good this season. They beat Velocity a couple weeks ago. They're the only team, well, the only like upper invite team not yet to play froyotech. They're going to play them right now as we're going live, and they would have played Ascent, but Swift forfeited that match. So here they are, gone up against froyotech. This is where we'll see what they're really made of, Marxist. It is froyotech taking on SVIFT NA on Viaduct, aka Product here. Coming to the first mid fight.
I'm gonna caution you here to start. As Shade is on crits to begin.
That he is. They're looking to build this Kritzkrieg up and use it as soon as they get it, basically. We'll see what the strat is, of course. It's going to be tough for Swift to recognize that. Blaze going in for a very quick bomb. He's going behind the enemy team. On the other side, though, Garbuglio doing the exact same thing. Get on enemy team's grasp. Blaze immediately onto the medic. He's going to get 404. He's going down really early, but we'll see Banny and Habib are still jumping around, trying to protect Shade. Everybody on froyotech is charging forward, and they're getting some frags, but look at this. Marmaduke, Delpo, Slemnish all getting frags onto them. Bandy, the only player really back here, he's going to end up getting taken down by Slemnish, and that was a disaster mid from froyotech. They all died. Yeah,
Froyo got really spread out there. If you looked at it from the sky cam, you didn't see Froyo because they'd ceased to be a team. They were just individual players at that point. And Shade, luckily though, gets out. So here comes this fat crits on whoever's going to get it. We saw Habib do amazing work on Granary with it.
Yeah, they're charging it up now, waiting to pop it any second now. 4-4 is at 70%. There they go. They're looking for the frag, and they didn't get enough damage onto Delpo. Here comes the bomb by Marmaduke Grill, separating the medic from the demo man, and this crits is not doing anything. They get Marmo, who bombed in, but Garbuglio goes forward. They get Shade and Banny. Great bomb by Garbuglio. He eventually gets taken down by the melee from Habib. Now here they go, 404 on his team, just getting 100% Uber charge now, still holding control of this middle point. It's still a 4-on-4 technically, but froyotech are in a much worse position. They're so hurt on all sides. Eric's still trying to fight, but it's not enough, Marxist.
Yeah, you really don't want this either, because for Froyo, they're going to have to either just win this outright by being gods, or they're going to have to try to force this Uber before they can even push. And that's going to lead to us burning about 30 seconds to a minute.
Oh, and they're all going for a big bomb on the 404, but a nice pipe from Delpo takes down Sigh mid-air. And with that, 404's life is going to be saved. So that was a big sack in from froyotech. They wanted to force that medic off. 404 able to hold on. He was a little far forward for my liking, but worked out in the end. Some fat pipes came out, and froyotech are having a really rough start to this game, Marxist.
Yeah, and now they're wisely moved way up. They should just exchange Ubers as soon as they see a medic. Instead, they're going to trade out and run away. So now they have let Froyo in, and their team dissolves. So here it goes. They should have just stayed forward, and everything would have been fine. Now we're going to have a really bad day for Swift.
Oh, but if High Five can get the frag on a Shade, he's beefing all of his shots. He's out with a pistol already, and Shade gets the Uber charge, pops his off. Now they're pushing forward. They get Garbuglio, who's over in Connector, and they've forced Swift out of this middle point. Not a great exchange by Swift at all. Losing Delpo was the key factor there that ended up making them lose that fight. Unfortunate, but they're still trying to exchange. Garbuglio's up on Sniper.
Yeah, they just handed the initiative to Froyo, and you don't want Froyo to choose how they're going to play. Garbuglio did go Sniper last season and had some pretty good games with it, but it's going to go down. We're still trading out players. Froyo's kind of getting the worst end of it, but then they even up, which is really fine for SVIFT, really, because they have the faster respawn time. Now they're being pressured by 2 scouts. It's basically up to get a nice pipe or a meat shot on somebody for someone on Froyo to try and beat this back for the time being, because the Ubers are basically even, and they really don't want to see ground like this.
Yeah, Garbuglio's still on Sniper. He's not changing class. High Five over on Connector is going to get that frag on Eric right as the Sniper shot rings out. Again, Garbuglio is being pressured up by Banny. The team's going to be able to force him back. Now Marmaduke Grills is in behind, and they're forced to Ubercharge out of Shade very early. 4-4 pops in kind. Still now high five in the depths of the enemy team. Gets Sigh Guy right before getting taken out. That is a really big pick, being able to get that soldier frag. Now they're going to be able to grab control of this middle point, and Banny going down to Delpo. That's going to be 50 seconds left on the clock, and it's going really well for SVIFT.
Yeah, Froyo had a tall order there to hold for basically 2 minutes, and they were not able to do so. And now they've got to push back out. Ubers will not be a factor, but there is a sniper to contest with. I like that out of SVIFT here, just because they're going to have to try to slow push this. And if anything puts a wrench in your slow push game, it's a sniper.
They've got a couple flanking players right now, and there's a lot of fights going on. Both the scouts on SVIFT are going to go down, and another one tried to suicide him for 404, but Garbuglio was able to get a frag on Eric, so the medic is still safe. They've got a demo and a sniper still around to protect him, but froyotech have the player advantage, and they're just waiting. They're not capping this point, Marxist, because they want this respawn advantage. Now they're going to pop it off, get that cap point. Sigh Guy's going to end up going down as well, but look at Banny up on the cliff side. He's going to get the frag on a Garbuglio. Delpo eats a pipe, and he's having to run back. 4-4 is all the way out, so he's not in any danger, but SVIFT are still looking to fight this.
Yeah, the big deal there was, in order for the sniper to be effective, he doesn't really hold ground, so he has to get frags, and Garbuglio did not really do too much there. But we are going to see a bomb in here. They're not going to find Shade. He's hiding behind the rock. They're actually going to pop. I guess they're really hot after it because they only have 3 seconds left to win the game. But it's 2-2 as far as frags go, and they're going to keep fighting this out. The longer this fight goes on, the better it is for SVIFT because of the respawn timers.
I don't know if it's going to go on quite long enough. Now their respawners are arriving. High fives up in the fight. Marmaduke Grills is 2 seconds behind. Garbuglio is still looking for a shot, but he hasn't hit anything in a long time. Now here comes the refight with the respawners. Eric and High Five both going to end up going down in a big trade. Blaze bombing in the combo, but he's safe behind his rock. Jumps back to his medic. He's not going to die today. Garbuglio is looking at all of them. He's got a huge sight line, but he's not able to find these shots. Blaze is going in behind on the yard now, being jumped by Marmaduke Grills. A big kind of stomp on his head there. There we go. That was a shot from Garbuglio onto Sigh Guy. Gonna dome him, and now we see the sniper shots are charging out. Another sticky comes out. Habib is not on very much health. There he goes, taken down. They cap the point, and this is gonna be it. SVIFT take it early, 1-0.
Yeah, really strange decision there from Blaze to solo bomb in. I don't really understand what he was trying to achieve there besides losing the round. So here we go, on to the second mid.
Coming out, froyotech needs to change something up because this is not a team they're expected to lose to. SVIFT very good, but I mean, it's froyotech. Blaze denied as he tried to go for that big early bomb. He didn't end up dying. High five and Marmaduke Grills both did though, and look at this. Habib's going off, gets 404. All the players on SVIFT are crumbling. This is the froyotech re-aggression they needed to complete ace so fast.
Yeah, that is a disaster, especially on this map because Froyo knows how to forward hold, or at least they did it one time. And so this may end up being a very prolonged event here that we're about to witness. Essentially what you do with this forward hold is you want to force the enemy to come out of that middle door where they are still being shot at on all sides. There is Shade's gonna go down. Yeah, it's hard to do the forward hold, Cornpop, if you let a soldier just kill your medic. It's ideal not to allow that to occur.
Oh man, that was a beautiful bomb in by Garbuglio, dropping Shade the medic, and with that, I mean, you were just talking about how good they were at holding that forward hold. Caster's Curse. Here comes SVIFT out of the forward hold, or out of their spawn. Sigh Guy's doing a bomb, trying to get catch 4-4 out, but he just ends up dying. Marmaduke Grills finds that frag. Eric pressuring Garbuglio, but getting jumped by Marmaduke again, pushed back onto back over to the point. 100% overcharge from 404, so they should be able to walk forward and get this point, but they're having a bit of trouble. Garbuglio is gonna lose his life there, gets jumped by Blaze and was fighting Banny earlier on, so 404 eats some spam, has to pop it off, and this isn't great. froyotech is all over the place, and they're actually killing SVIFT in the back lines. There's 3 players alive still in the blue. Banny's about to find a second frag if he can. Here comes the soldier bombs jumping in. 404, can he get out? Banny's onto him, but 404 got that pack. He needs to be able to escape here. Banny just gonna go down to Garbuglio in the end. Beefed a couple of shots, and 404 lives, but still not a great position for them.
Yeah, and note that Froyo has not lost the point this round yet, despite that death from Shade. That was weird decision making from SVIFT there. They had the Uber. They should have just gone in. Instead, they waited forever and let Froyo decide what to do again, and it cost them another huge chunk of time.
They've gotten some good damage coordination. They've gotten 3 frags out of it. Garbuglio's bombing on his left-hand side. Isn't going to get anything for it, but his team got enough frags. They were able to walk forward. They had that big Uber charge advantage, and they just used it. Walk forward on this point. They're going to cap it off for the first time in this round. froyotech 2 minutes off that clock already, so they're not exactly trembling at this, but finally the momentum shifts back in SVIFT's favor.
Yeah, the upside for SVIFT here is they may be able to even this clock up due to their Uber advantage. They just have to make sure that nothing bad happens to 404. He gets forced, so it is not going to be a 2-minute hold. Kind of strange to have him standing just on the ground back there and just give that up. So they do survive the sack, but 404 goes down, and so does Garbuglio. He won't really be in any kind of position to do anything if Froyo move really quick, and he's staying sniper.
Yeah, 4-for-1 trade might not look good on paper, but that's exactly what froyotech wanted. Got the medic force off, and now they have 100%. We'll see how they want to use it coming to this middle point. Again, Garbuglio shooting off those sniper charges, and Shade's forced to pop that one off at pretty high HP just because the sniper threat is there. They're trying to run forward. Everybody's kind of clumped in this back right-hand area, but they're going to get Sigh and Banny. Slemish and Garbuglio get those 2 frags, and here comes a bomb by Marmaduke Grills. Beautifully timed. He's going to get Habib, and Shade and Eric are on the run, running back to their spawn. There's a soldier still in the back lines. He's going after Garbuglio, but oh, what a shot. Turns around as soon as he lands. Garbuglio loses his life hurt in the end, but doesn't matter because everybody on that team's dead.
Yeah, and the big one again is Shade died in that. So this will more or less even guarantee that our clocks are evened up. So a nice recovery from SVIFT. Unless their med gets forced immediately. But I think we'll still see an even timer.
And to be fair, it's better than what happened when SVIFT tried to break a forward hold and they actually ended up dropping the medic. At least 404 popped this time. So not quite as bad as what froyotech had to deal with. But Marmaduke Grill's going for a pretty aggressive bomb. He's focusing down Habib, but not quite able to get that damage down fast enough. Sigh takes down the threat early enough. I like that play from Marmaduke Grills. Didn't quite pay off, but we'll see. froyotech still now trying to regress on this point. Sigh bombs in. Garbuglio still trying to hit some shots, but he's not really hitting the damage he needs to. Blaze up on a high 5 with the right-hand side, loses that 1v1. froyotech have point control, though, and they're going to get it, even if Banny dies. And Eric dies. Ooh.
Yeah, that sack there from Marm was putting a lot of trust in the sniper of Garbuglio. And that time he got the frags for sure. If he'd have hit that shot on Habib, I'd have screamed. But he didn't. So here we go. They've got the clock going again in their favor. It is evened up as far as Ubers go as well. So we'll see what Froyo chooses to do here. They don't really have enough time to take this super slow.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on the blue clock. Eric's gotten behind. He takes on the sniper really early, and he's in a position to force 404, so he's going to be able to do that. They've lost Blaze, but Shade popping his Uber charge off. They still have the players' numbers as well. SVIFT is in a bit of a dangerous spot, especially with Eric right where he is. They're going to be able to get some shots down. Finally, 404 goes down on the pistol. Big bombing by, or not bombing, but Slemish tried to get in forward. Wasn't able to do anything. 8 seconds. It is going to be froyotech recapping this point. 40 seconds on their clock, so there is going to be an opportunity, but SVIFT are going to have to go sooner rather than later. They're not going to be able to get their Uber charge.
Yeah, and they needed to stack it there to make sure there was still at least 1 second left on the clock, so that if SVIFT were to retake the point, it wouldn't be immediate game over. We'll see. Marmaduke's trying to get out here onto the med, and Shade is going to end up being able to just shoot ground because he walks right next to him. Sigh is going to go down as well. Slemish is on the march, but he's going to find a ton of players. They are getting abused here by Delpo. Eric's going to get taken out as he tries to go, and Froyo's going to get stuck behind this point and have to use their Uber to try to save the game here. This may actually put them in a really bad situation because this is going to get capped. Here goes the bomb. Will it change the game? They're going to get a bunch of frags off of it, and all that's left of SVIFT is one player who goes down. So that was perfect. They essentially baited SVIFT into that. And that is a 1-to-1 tie.
Habib hitting a clutch pipe right at the end. A big bomb by Blaze. Somehow froyotech didn't lose that. They should have probably, but big plays coming out. Tied at 1. froyotech, this is where they want to get their comeback. That was a very close second round, though. SVIFT's momentum isn't going to be low at all. Ready to come right back into this. We'll see Who wants to be the first to bomb? It's gonna be Blaze. Every soldier, basically. Marmaduke grills in on Shade immediately. Banny goes down as well, so a slow start to Froyo. They lose Blaze, who tried to bomb as well. 4-4's doing a great job dodging around the place. Sigh isn't able to find him as they're fighting up on Cliff. Looks like Slemnish is gonna get taken down by Eric, but the rest, yeah, the two Froyo players back there aren't doing a whole lot of work otherwise. High Five's gonna get the frag on a Sigh, and with only Eric running around back there, he's not gonna be able to do much, Marxist.
Yeah, that was a rough mid for Sigh there. Did not accomplish. I think he maybe did 40 damage the whole mid, but he did draw some attention, but didn't make a difference. His team got wiped out. They do have two players going behind them now. It is a Blaze and an Eric. Will this bait play work? It essentially does, because it gets two frags. There are more coming. The Uber gets forced. As long as Shade doesn't die, this is the best of all possible worlds for Froyo.
Oh, 404. They tried to do a really aggressive strategy where their whole team was dying, but let's just solo Uber on the demo man. That's not going to work out for them. 404 going down is probably the worst thing that happened in that little exchange. Shade on 75% doesn't help much either. Garbuglio's not in a good spot. He's going to get out on the right-hand side, though, so props to him. Rest of his team hasn't been too lucky, though, as it's 75% ad. They got to break another forward hold.
Yeah, well, last time they just killed Shade, so that broke it immediately. But what you want to do here is force them to come out of that middle door so they can get shot at from both sides. There we go. Garbuglio tries, Marmaduke tries, they're all dying.
They get Shade again! They dropped him, Delpo hit the pipe. I don't even know how it happened, but somehow he hit that pipe and Shade's got 2 drops on the 3rd round of this match. That is not like him at all, and oof, this isn't good for froyotech.
Even Delpo can't believe it, Cornpop. He typed, what? Just like I was saying. What happened? It was going so well. And then, just like everything else, it turned into garbage.
Sigh gonna be trying to save his team in this, and he actually does get the force out of 404, doing enough damage onto Delpo that they pop this one off. Pushing forward, they want to get some aggression down, maybe get some frags, but they're going to lose Marmaduke Grills. Garbuglio also went in for that bomb and ended up dying, so SVIFT get the point off that, and the time's going to be pretty much equal, but froyotech might be able to just walk back in and take it, although Blaze going to go down. That's not going to make it easy. Slemnish also going to go down, though, so this is going to be an easy point capture from froyotech. 3 players left alive on SVIFT, all over on this right-hand side. Shame they gave it up so quickly. They had to pop that Uber charge off, but, I mean, it was a good bomb from froyotech. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and it got the timer a little bit closer.
Yeah.
They were going to have to face the Shade Uber eventually. Ooh, tete-a-tete air shot there. They're going after Shade in a big way. He's going to have to pop. Delpo does not hit the Miracle Pipe. He just dies instead. And they only lose 2 players off of it, though. So a really good force overall. And that is going to put 404 in the Uber driver's seat. High Five back on Scout is going to come out here now, and they have their full complement.
Oh, so the Sigh was hiding, but Marmaduke Grills finds him in a house, and he's going to go down pretty easily. Big bombing from Blaze, focusing 404, but he holds it in, and Blaze goes down to High Five. 404 has been doing a much better job at milking these Uber charges than Shade has. You don't say that too often. Eric is very low back near his team, and they're going to just give this point up. 47 seconds is the time on froyotech's clock. It's no longer going down. It's still just under 2 minutes on the side of SVIFT, so they've got some ground to make up, but they're in control at this point. They have full Uber charge, full players alive. They're in position to do this.
The telling thing there is that 404 took a lot of damage from that bomb and ran back to get the health pack, and nothing, Froyo didn't respond. They just stood back and spammed. And you should not do that. Shade is going to end up getting the Uber eventually. There he goes. And he gets it on Sigh finally. And now we may see a really rapid push out. Froyo has not been sluggish on just coming out.
Yeah, they get Marmaduke Grills pretty early. Banny got that one, and 4-4's taking so much damage so early. I was just going to comment on how far forward he was. Slemnish got 1 frag. He got the frag on Eric right before going down, and 4-4's backed off now to a safer position, but they're certainly not going to be able to hold on this point anymore. Garbuglio is jumping all around Banny, but he's losing so much HP. They're still fighting over this yard area. Double Soldier Bomb in on a High Five, and Garbuglio, they both go down to Blaze and Sigh. So froyotech with this 3-man advantage are going to be standing on this point, capping it off. Time is almost exactly even as they're going to be pretty soon as froyotech caps us off. Again, you can see they're waiting for that better respawn, so they want to cap it, but they will eventually.
Yeah, Habib died in a trap, like right as he was about to solo cap it. But now the big change comes down to 4-4, goes down to a bomb from Blaze. He was peeking that door way too early and gets blown up for it. Delpo, Grills, Slemnish, all dead for SVIFT. Only High Five remains alive, and he is standing in spawn saying, why?
That could be the end for SVIFT in this round. They're going to have another opportunity. I mean, 20 seconds on that clock. It's not very much. Shade might have a supercharge by that time. It's going to be close. Marmaduke Grills jumping up on concrete. Blaze going to be going over to the enemy team's grass, still jumping around, just causing some distractions. They don't want to commit. They don't want to lose too many players, but they find this frag on Marmaduke Grills. They trade for it. They lose another player, though, so it's a 5-on-4 favoring SVIFT. Now they're pushing across the point. They need to get some time on the point. They do have a little bit. Slemnish is focusing Habib, and he gets that frag. Now Garbuglio's on Shade. Shade only at 80% uber charge, and somehow SVIFT managed to come out and reclaim this point. 30 seconds left on the clock with overtime on the red team's side. Marxist, we've got a game.
Yeah, and now the trouble here is Shade is going to get this Uber. They're not moving fast enough to use it, but should Froyo recap this point, it's a round win for them. There will be no overtime.
They're pushing forward now, popping it off as soon as well, pretty early there. Nice drop from Sigh, or Delpo's going to get the frag on a Sigh guy. See, Shade popped it off. There's all over the place, really. froyotech don't have a whole lot of health on any of their players, but Banny's focusing down Delpo. He's going to end up going down at the end. Now, there's a couple Froyo players left on this point. They death their sticks. It's a 3-on-4 fight over on this middle point, and they've got the heals on the side of SVIFT Gaming. We can see Shade is so low, backing off. This looks like, unless Sigh can pull off a miracle play, he's focusing down Delpo, and he's actually eating some arrows from Shade. This is still doable, but the time runs out, and it's going to be tied at, or no, not tied at 2. SVIFT are going to take this 2-1 early.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what Froyo had time to make that an Uber exchange and then follow up, but they tried to get in behind and they ended up just getting focused.
2-1 as we're coming into this fourth mid fight. Again, Blaze and Sagai bombing pretty early, and they get Garbuglio, and they were able to finish this counter bomb, and they get another one on a Slemnish. Already only 4 players left alive. They get a High Five. They're all pushing forward on a 4-4. They want to get that frag in particular. They're going to get almost everybody else. They're going to get everybody else, actually. 404 makes it to the resupply cabinet in time, but they chase them all back. froyotech have another dominating mid.
Yeah, 404 at one time went below 20 health. So he was in the scary zone, but everything will be okay. This isn't such a big deal here where you're going to have this even Uber because the sacks are getting ready to come out, or at least they're feigning that they are. In goes one scout, that's Slemnish. He's going to go down straight away with doing very little, and nobody else is really going to make any movement from SVIFT, which is going to hurt them on the respawn game here in a sec.
Yeah, they have their full 100%, so they might just be wanting to go with it or try to get a pick if they can. They've gotten some damage down on Banny, Saigai, Eric, but Garbuglio's taking some damage too, so they really aren't in a favorable position. They're going to pop it off anyways, though. Just try to take this fair fight. They get Blaze on the flank, which is going to help them in this. Slemnish is focusing down Eric as well. Going to get that frag. Shade thrown across the map, and if Slemnish would just turn around, he could find the medic frag, but he's not looking. He's going to get the frag on a Banny instead, and also Habib going to go down. Saigai also finally dying, so it was the right decision from Slemnish. They're all pushing forward. Shade shouldn't live. He shouldn't live. Finally goes down to the pistol, and that was really a good retake by SVIFT.
Yeah, Slem followed the very low open advice of kill the fragging classes first. And for whatever reason, Shade didn't just book it out of there. He kind of stuck around and tried to help his teammate, and it got him killed.
Banny's actually getting pretty aggressive onto Delpo, pushing him forward. Now a big bomb from Blaze as well, but he's taking a lot of damage. If even Slemnish both going to end up trading. Marmaduke Grills jumping back to his team, and so far froyotech has broken out of this forward hold. They've gotten a couple frags for it too. High Five ends up dying. Garbuglio fighting Blaze in the 1v1. He's going to lose that one, so SVIFT, again, they're just losing these sort of fair fights, and they even had Uber charge there, Marxist, but opted not to lose it. They lose the point.
Yeah, and that's the second time they've done that. Well, if they can Uber back in very quickly, it might make the difference. It looks like that's going to be what they try to do. Can they get the Shade in time? It's a race. 7, 8, 9. He's got it. So everything is okay, and SVIFT isn't going to get this point.
It's a good attempt. They went forward as fast as they could, but ultimately they didn't get the frag as fast as they wanted to, and now they're in a really bad position because they are at 100% Uber disadvantage. They have a pick advantage, and Garbuglio is going to get behind because of that. We'll see what he ends up doing from back lines. He's going to just go back to their spawn, it seems. Meanwhile, on the front lines, Marmaduke Grills is trying to get aggressive. Garbuglio just ends up dying in a 2v1. Marmaduke Grills now is getting a lot of damage down. Shade ends up popping the supercharge off, and they got 2 frags in that. Banny and Habib both end up dying. They want to get forward and get the frag onto some more players. High 5 ends up dying, but they lose Blaze for it. So 3 players survived on that in SVIFT, including 404. He's at 50% Ubercharge now, so they're willing to continue going forward, and that was a great play by SVIFT. The important thing is they don't lose their meta cure as they try to retake this middle point. Looks like they should be good as they cap it off. 52 seconds on froyotech's clock.
Yeah, and a pretty tall order from SVIFT here in this round. They've got a minute plus to try to hold this. They do have Uber here. It's going to be a game of keep 404 alive and try to catch Shade in a mistake. But Shade is not currently present. They did not get the force. So Froyo is going to have to opt in. They have time to try to go for a force again. There is a forward hold now. It's very strong to the left side. It looks like Froyo wants to come from the right. Blaze is going to go down. We'll see what they back up and try to do. Because they may just try to go as slow as humanly possible. Alright, they're in this middle door and are getting blown up presently.
Oh, this is why the forward hold's so strong. You just have much better positioning. 4-4 even gets the frag on a sigh guy. They got Slemnish in that, but I mean, they lost 3 players. It's not the end of the world of, obviously, Shade didn't have to pop, and their respawn is right there. So it was worth a shot. They lost a couple seconds on that clock, so that'll hurt them. But ultimately, they're not too depressed. They can keep trying until something works. Blaze and Eric both dying on this right-hand side. So again, it looks like this is a failed attempt at pushing out of the forward hold. That's 2 in a row now. And as the announcer announces it, 60 seconds until the mission ends. SVIFT are in a good position. This forward hold is working great for them.
Yeah. This is how it's meant to be done. And it works. Oh, they're just going to Uber out. Not a great, not the best possible thing. Froyo getting kind of antsy, and now they're just going to turn it down into the wild DM fight that is Viaduct. Benny's going to go down. High Five's going to go down. 404 dies. That's the big pick there. As long as Shade doesn't die, all is well. There's still hope yet for Froyo. And they are going to get back in here. And at the end of it, they're just going to lose Blaze. And I think Banny there at the start, perhaps. But losing 404 pretty much dooms SVIFT here.
I love Viaduct Week, man. There's so much action. It always comes right down to the wire. 40 seconds left on froyotech's clock. It's counting down. 404, you'll probably get a supercharge before that clock hits 0, but we'll see how well he builds and how this ends up going. Blaze is going to bomb. He's going to end up getting behind the enemy team's team. Behind the enemy team. Garbuglio's over in the grass. He's taking a bit of damage. Big bomb from Marmaduke Grills now. Gonna force Shade. 4-4's trying to run away best he can. Only 50% of supercharge. He's only got Slemnish with him. Can he make it back to the spawn? He is gonna be able to make it back there. So Shade is very overextended. There's 2 players on SVIFT back in the back lines. Garbuglio loses the 1v1 against Blaze. 10 seconds on this clock, and there are no SVIFT members at all in the area. Marmaduke Grills is in the way back lines trying to fight Sigh Guy off. He loses that 1v1. Nobody's at the point. Slemnish is okay. He's trying to do some damage. He was surviving for a long time. Can High Five get on it? No, he can't.
And that'll even us up 2-2. Good play there from Froyo. Basically, if you have Uber and happen to see the enemy med and you know they don't have Uber in and kill him. You will win a lot of Viaduct that way.
Now we're tied at 2. Of course, first to 4 and the game will end. So we'll see. Froyotech trying to get aggressive here. Garbuglio, big bomb in. Shade hit a nice surf, but he's taking a lot of damage too early. We'll see if that ends up playing into anything. But it looks like SVIFT are all getting pushed back. They lose their demo man, and Eric is in a position to die. There he goes. 2 scouts left alive protecting 404. They can run him out if they really need to. They still want to pressure here a little bit longer. Froyotech's going to get this point, but now they're pushing forward onto this right-hand side. They're forcing SVIFT to kind of back off. Garbuglio came out the left door, and he's still trying to pressure. Blaze took a bit of damage. Now the re-aggression is coming in by SVIFT. Marmaduke Grills says a big bomb gets the demo man with Habib. That's exactly what they wanted. They're going to be able to take control over this point now as long as they don't lose any crucial players. They're not going to, and they've taken this right back out from them.
Yeah, and that they are now going to have the wacky Uber exchange before anything really gets going here. The point has already been traded twice just in the process of essentially the mid-fight. But Froyo is again coming out on the better end of this. Delpo is going to go down, and so is 404 to the bomb from Blaze. And that one is going to sting as soon as they actually cap this point down. So basically you want to think of it this way, Cornpop. Every time your med dies, it dooms you to losing 30 seconds off the clock on the enemy team, and perhaps a minute if you can't force them.
Yeah, it's disappointing for SVIFT. Basically, they didn't have 2 soldiers at the start of that fight, and because of that, they were playing somewhat 4v6, and they ended up losing it. So, 90% from Shade, as he's getting up to 100, about 50% add on him, so they'll have some time. Looks like SVIFT haven't been going in for any sort of kill the medic sack plays. They could be now. Garbuglio tries this jump, but he's getting somewhat denied, and he's taking too much damage. He goes down to Blaze in the end. Blaze is doing great so far on a 5k streak, but Marmaduke Grill's jumping in now. Again, he just ends up dying. Slumnish was in as well, but Habib got the sticky frags onto him, so that was the sack in from SVIFT. They're going to have 80% Uber charge, so they could try to pop in for the next one, or they could try to sack again. Really up to them. There's still a minute 40 on Froyo's clock.
Yeah, that was just poorly timed. If you can even tell from the spawn timers, because they had the initial push by Garbuglio, and then the rest of the sacks didn't come for another 5 seconds. Yeah. So they had plenty of time to reset themselves. Whoa, excellent juggling there. That was pretty sick from Habib, but he's gonna die for it. Anyways, Shade does run away with this Uber, and we may very well see a scenario where SVIFT caps this and then Froyo just Ubers in and retakes.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure. froyotech's all hiding behind the point. They end up popping the Uber charge off. They got to run forward now. Of course, 404 doesn't have his 30% as they did use and got jungled at that point. 2 players behind Slemish and Marmaduke Grills both get taken down by Eric. So with those frags, it doesn't look like Froyo's going to even let SVIFT cap this point off. They're going back into this forward hold. Blaze and Garbuglio are going to trade on the right-hand side. And we see the Scout Eric is all the way in. He almost got a frag, but ended up dying in the end. Slemish dies to a Habib trap, and looks like they've broken the forward hold, but man, they're still not in a great position.
Yeah, but I think Froyo was rubbing it in their faces a bit there. 404 is going to die. Sigh Guy's bomb is going to be a success. Shade's going to die, though. That changes the whole outlook of the future. Froyo, though, still with great health. Blaze gets multiple frags, and they're going to wipe out, except for respawning 404. They may not even be able to touch the point. It's the race. Oh no, there was a camper. It was Eric hiding in the walls. Will he get there in time?
Oh,
no,
yes.
He gets on it, just barely. They're going to try. If they manage to cap this, though, they'll have to hold it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
They lose. Delpo get the frag on a Blaze, so it's a 5-on-5. Still fighting this point. They have capped it off, but as you said, 2.5 minutes. They still need to hold on to this force. Sly Guy hitting some rockets. Slumnish isn't having a good time trying to fight them over on concrete. Does lose his life to Eric. Now there's only 3 alive on SVIFT, and this is probably going to be them losing the half. There we go. It's only Delpo and a respawn. froyotech are going to cap this off and take it 3-2 into halftime. This has been a very close first half, but still, froyotech remains on top.
Yeah, and to be honest, as SVIFT, with the roster shenanigans they've gone through already this season, you got to be happy about a 3-2 with Froyo at the half, because there's still plenty of opportunity to come back and win this.
Yeah, I think halftime kind of changes everything. You know, it's a time to relax, time to look back at the past 5 rounds, the max you can have in a first half of Viaduct. So they're looking at this, and I mean, both teams have an opportunity to change up their strategies. Are we starting? No, that's just the announcer baiting us. So we can look at some stats real quick, Marxist, before we go into the second half.
I'm liking what I see here in that traditionally Viaduct was the demo man DPM map. If you wanted to record a DPM in a log to show your friends and tell them how good you were, you would use a Viaduct log if you were a demo player. We've got Delpo at 360 leading his team, 34-17. Very solid performance. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got Habib for froyotech at 385, almost at the godlike 400. And he is 29-17 as well. 17 deaths for both demos. So both demos having an extraordinarily good night. And that makes me happy. It takes me back.
Yeah, it's always great to see from demo, especially on Viaduct. I know the chat was yelling Delpo's names a couple of times in this match. He's been having a really good one tonight. Other players, I mean, I want to look at these med drops again. We mentioned it earlier on, but Shade dropping twice. That's not what you want to see out of your medic. They both have the same amount of Ubers, so 16 and 16. And as far as deaths go, Shade was one less than 404. They both had quite a few, though. I guess that's to be expected. It's a Viaduct. But still, that's not what I expect to see from Shade at all, especially not against a team that tends to have some roster issues, which might imply they're a little less coordinated than others.
Yeah, you can see the lack of coordination on SVIFT from time to time. If they had their stuff a little more together, they would be winning this match right now. Shade, I don't know. The deal with Shade is that usually what's going on is that second drop just shouldn't have occurred. That I would have dropped that. I think every medic player who's ever lived would have dropped that Uber. The first one, though, I think was just out of spite. Like, he couldn't believe what he was seeing in front of him, and it made it so his hand couldn't react and push the mouse 2 button. So I'm not really blaming him so much for those. It's just, it's been a rough night for him. Unlucky, as a certain other medic player would say. I would snap the deaths. I mean, you have Shade, who has gone flawlessly. He's had perfect games where he didn't die at all. But 10 in a 3-2 Viaduct still isn't that bad. I'd say it's well above average, even.
Well,
starting Cornpop.
Yes, we're going live once again. Of course, it is 3-2 and it's first to 4. So froyotech only need one more if they want to win this match against SVIFT NA. Coming out of this potentially either last or second, or last or third last mid fight. Looks like the SVIFT soldiers are getting somewhat denied as they try to bomb forward, but they got a lot of damage out of Shade anyways. There's a couple of froyotech players in behind, and we see most of SVIFT have gotten aggressive in this middle point. A big bomb in by Blaze, gonna get that medic. He's gonna end up losing his life, so heal advantage is in favor of froyotech. High 5 is very low, trying to get some damage down. They're pushing forward. Habib's been thrown out of position, but doesn't really matter because it's they're kind of losing everybody here except for High 5. Eric went pretty huge there, 4 shots. Gonna take down 4 players, most of those with his pistol, I even think. So great job from froyotech. They need to hold that for 3 minutes and they're gonna win the game.
Yeah, Froyo really spread themselves again. I mentioned earlier that they spread out, but SVIFT's reaction was not to focus targets, it was to also spread. And then they just lost their DM fights, and SVIFT needed to have some decision making there, and they would have won that fight, but the better organized Froyo comes out on top.
Yeah, and we just saw them try to break out of the somewhat forward hold there, but great flank coordination from Blaze and Banny. Were able to get a couple of frags, and Garbuglio was a little too overextended. He went for the hero sniper shot, and he's hit some good shots tonight, but he hasn't been the most consistent, and he misses that one. So here we see them all bunched up in that middle area. Banny's, well, he was kind of in an awkward position, but he's going to get 1 frag. 2 more from his team. They haven't gotten the medic 404. That's the important one. Obviously, he smartly stayed back, as these are just kind of the sacks coming out of SVIFT NA. Now they're going to have 100% Uber charge. Now their behavior is going to change a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to... Whoa, sniper shot through the spawn door. That could have been a little scary. But yeah, strangely enough, they had their chances at Shade again, but didn't take them. Habib is going to go down. That will probably dictate the oncoming push. Blaze is going to go down too. Nice bomb, though. Causes a big delay. This Uber isn't even going to get close to Shade. And Banny is going to be in behind as well. We'll see if they try to use the Uber to block the point, just for hubris points.
Doesn't look like that's their plan. Choosing to back off instead. Once they get their team here, they're going to be able to recap it anyways, but this is going to at least let SVIFT NA get some time onto the board. That's what they really need at this point in time. Now if they can have an opportunity to force Shade as well, they do. Big bomb by Garbuglio is going to be able to get that force out. Now froyotech are going to use a supercharge, get as forward as they can. High 5 ends up going down on this, but they aren't going to get any more frags, so only 2 frags for that Uber charge force. Not ideal. Of course they're going to get this point as well, but that's a pretty decent Uber disadvantage, Marxist, and froyotech got to be a little worried about it.
Well, froyotech still has over a minute advantage.
True.
So they can make a mistake and be fine. And when you're already in the lead by a round, that's what you want. 404 gets beat up there, and now he's gonna die. So he dies to Blaze. Sigh guy types cringe in the chat because that is likely the end of the game unless they can drop Shade. I am surprised that they are not running a spy.
Well, they're gonna run a pyro, try to break this forward hold. It's not even tomorrow yet, but they're getting excited for it, I suppose. They lose Marmaduke Grills to a Habib sticky trap. Again, that's not good. Blaze once again onto 404. He's not gonna get the frag. He gets piped down. There we go, though. Banny's gonna be able to follow it up. Shade pops supercharge off. 38 seconds left on that clock, and Delpo's gonna end up going down. High five in the backlines, though, might be able to get some damage down to Shade, but he didn't get anything. Garbuglio bombed in again, died to Banny. So Banny's been doing real good so far in these last few seconds of the game. 25 seconds left on the clock. It's desperation mode from SVIFT. They got to get in. Of course, there's only 2 players really still here on froyotech. Those respawns were quite long, and this is going to allow SVIFT to get some time out of the point. Blaze over on connector, going to get some damage down, but we'll see if they can actually block this point or if SVIFT is going to be able to cap it. It's going to be tough for them. They've not got the overcharge advantage. They get the frag on a Blaze, so they now have players, but their health isn't much better. Slum just gets another frag. They are running the sniper, and he has been bombed up by Sigh. He's a little distracted right now, still taking shots over on Shade, but now he's trying to survive as Sigh is just dealing some damage. They're going to cap the point off Marxist, and this means they're back in the game, but they're still barely holding on to it.
Well, and they get the crappy respawn timer, and that is going to be it.
Yeah. 4-2, a close one, but froyotech in the end proves to be the better team, taking that last half in a 1-0 end of the second half. So 4-2 overall score. Big performance though. It was Viaduct. Viaduct can be kind of a shake-up match, but still great performance by the SVIFT NA guys, and they should be really proud of the game they played tonight.
Yeah, especially for a team that obviously showed, especially on 3 or 4 occasions, that they have not gelled yet, or even had a ringer. I don't know the state of Marmaduke. Somebody with interviewing skills should get down there and ask them what the deal is. But I mean, they were a team that had a player who probably hasn't played a ton with them, and they put on a good show. I would argue Viaduct is one of the most communication-centric maps that we play. Mm-hmm. And so for having a player that is, although very experienced and good at the game, you know, you're not used to what they do, they put on a great show against the best team in NA.
Yeah, absolutely. We can check out these stats a little bit. I know Gabe's been highlighting some numbers here. Banny had a big damage per minute in that second half, able to bump him up to the top spot, overtaking Delpo and Habib. 394, great job by him. And Eric, 44 frags. That's a big number as well.
Yes, big numbers are fun. And Shade did not die in the second half. So there we go. A second half of perfection for Shade. Reclaiming that title for himself. He did get out-fragged, though, by 404. Those pivotal 2 frags. And your king fragger is actually Eric with 44. 44 and 24 was his KD, which is pretty good. I would say if I saw that in my own KD, I'd go, wow, I had a good game. So that was Eric there, having a nice job as a cleanup man. Blaze actually got quite a number of frags as well. 37 and 43 is pretty good in a day's work for a roamer.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to try to get some of the froyotech guys in for some conversations. So don't go away just yet. We'll see if they actually want to come and talk. But overall, that was a really good match. And I think that's the closest match froyotech have had all season. And now they've kind of played all the top teams. Honestly, SVIFT NA, just based on the way Ascent's been playing in this early half of the season and the fact they were able to beat Velocity early, they could be in for a second place spot this season. We could see a SVIFT froyotech grand finals. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
Well, actually, let me make it let me make it worse, Cornpop.
Uh-oh.
They are the first team this season to get more than 1 round on froyotech.
Yeah.
So let's just keep that in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, especially, it's not even like froyotech's been playing bad teams. They played Ascent 5-0. They played Velocity 5-1. I mean, the teams have stepped up to froyotech and they've completely fallen limp. And I mean, there was a good fight by Velocity. I'm not going to say there wasn't, but still a 5-1 scoreline. You can't really deny that. But a 4-2, that's definitely more even. I think they have some stuff to be proud of here, and yeah, them coming out, getting 2 rounds. That means all in all, froyotech have lost 3 rounds in the entire season. 2/3 of those rounds have been from SVIFT NA. Of course, the season's still young; it's only week 4, but I don't know if they'll be losing too many more. It depends how many teams die, and if froyotech ends up playing certain teams more than once. But yeah, no, good game.
Yeah, very solid. And like I said at half, SVIFT could have won that game if they were just a little tighter on their communication and sort of team cohesion, as it were. Because Froyo, although a dominant force, did not play the greatest game in Viaduct history just now.
Yeah.
So, for perspective, the greatest team in TF2 history received 11 rounds against for the entire season.
Ooh.
So we should track that
Marxist,
and see where Froyo ends up.
Marcus, I don't know if it's my internet or your internet, but at least for me, do you want to repeat that? Because I missed everything you just said.
Okay, great. So as for comparisons of rounds against, we are now at 3, right, for Froyo.
Yes.
The greatest team in TF2 history had 11 rounds against at the end of the season, 4 of which came in the finals. So we should keep a running tally and see what happens.
I mean, they're on a great pace. 4 weeks and only 3 rounds down. If you keep that up, by the end of round 9, they'll be at what's just over 6, maybe. So about 6 rounds, 6 or 7 rounds. Then you count for playoffs, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If they get 4 in playoffs as well, we'll see. But yeah, they're on a great pace. It looks like we're having trouble getting people into the server. I blame Nisel, but the froyotech guys, they want to talk, so we'll try to get them in.
Yep, we will let them air their grievances to us all. Maybe get a little chat about what they think about the update, and hear their perspective. Since some of the players on Froyo are old like me, and some are new, and so it'll be interesting to see what they have to say about all the hoopla.
Yeah, I especially want to know. I want to know about the shade drops. I want to know about the game, and there's a couple other like big froyotech news that's happened. They announced they're going to Sweeland, so we can talk with them about that a little bit. Swedenland, that is. I don't know if there's like a special name for it, but Swedenland will be interesting. Obviously, like we were talking about in pregame, but the pyro update's going to be really neat. See how that develops. The game comes out tomorrow, so that'll be exciting. Once again, there should be a cast tomorrow. We'll see if it actually ends up happening, but the plan is for that. Depends if the update changes anything, but we've got some Froyo players in now, so we're going to bring them in. Guys, congrats on your win against SVIFT NA. How are you feeling after that one? They're muted. All right, we'll get things working eventually.
Hello.
There you go. How you feeling after that one, guys?
Thanks for the unmute.
Feeling good. Glad we won. We had a very close start to the match, and we were actually behind at one point, but we brought it back. Had a much stronger second half of the match. So yeah, feels good, I guess.
Yeah, so one thing me and Marxist noted was there were a couple of shade drops in there, just kind of the soldier bombs. How are you
Right.
feeling about those? Were you happy about them?
It seemed that Shade was just trying to hold his Ubers when we were forward holding, and I think people got through like for free and lived way too long and just hit him with like their dying breath, you know, like shooting a rocket or a pipe, and he dropped that. And I think it's justified for him not to pop there. If we're forward holding, they shouldn't really be getting through those chokes at all. So it's fine. It didn't really like screw us over, I wouldn't say. The drops weren't at like crucial moments. It was usually when we were already like in control
in the
and
front foot,
had frags as well, so we were able to recover for the most part. I'd say the reason we lost rounds wasn't because of Shade dropping. It was the rounds where their sniper was just getting picks and kind of uncontested.
You guys have pretty much played all the sort of upper invite teams this season. Now you played Velocity, Ascent, and now SVIFT. Which match of that surprised you the most coming in? I know which one surprised me the most, but compare those teams for me.
Oh boy, I don't even remember our Velocity match. I'd say the Swift one's the most surprising.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's either the Swift or the Ascent one on Granary.
I mean, the fact that we beat Ascent so badly is surprising, but I'd say like as far as them like giving us a challenge, Swift probably.
Is Ascent going to be able to claim that second place title this season, do you think?
That's a good question. I think they'll bring it together. But I definitely think they're weaker now that they have Showstopper in the roster. I was pretty shocked that they picked up Showstopper and, you know, are sticking with him. We'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. Like, they might pull something by playoffs because that's what it matters. I don't know. They're very competitive people, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mr. Cheeto, as you're labeled in Mumble, you're one of the newer players on froyotech. How did it come to be that you got onto this team, and how are you enjoying playing with Froyo so far?
Well, I was already on the team before I joined. Just Benny didn't give me the roster password, so.
Sai's that kind of guy that he's got that positive mental attitude, you know. He like named his stream title Froyo Sai months before we picked him up, and eventually it just came true.
Mm-hmm. It was bound to happen.
There you go. Kind of switching away from this ESEA season, you guys recently announced you're going to Sweden LAN, slightly different roster. Tell me about how that roster came to be, because I know Banny and Habib, you guys are both on it.
Yeah, Eric is as well. How is that team gonna work out?
Yeah, how'd the roster come together, and how do you expect to do?
Well, I actually expect us to do very well. We just have a lot of seasoned players on our team. Like, I think the most inexperienced player on our team is Bear, only because like I think he only has about a couple of playoff seasons on Medic compared to like the rest of us. And
I don't think he's ever played Invite playoffs.
Has he not? I thought he does. I thought he had. But either way, I'm expecting us to do pretty well right now, like for the Swift team or the Sweetland team. I mean.
Yeah. I can give a little more background. Basically, when they I was at I-61 and they kind of hinted, you know, that there's going to be a Sweden event happening. They let us know about it, and I just like, for fun, just decided to check how much it costs to go to Sweden, and apparently you can get a flight from LA to Sweden for like $250 or something. So I just pounced on that, got it immediately before anything was set in stone, and then it just so happened that some other people from NA were interested in going. So the idea of a NA team going to Sweden was starting to become a reality. Asked some of my teammates here. We got Eric on board. We got Habib on board, and then starts looking like a solid team. So I'm glad we got everyone. You know, Patty and Garbuglio also, all playing their best classes, I'd say. So it should be a pretty solid team. And the competition, unfortunately, well, I guess they haven't announced the teams, but it seems like Seven and Swift will not be going from the ETF2L. So those are probably the two best teams in Europe, I'd say. And I think Antic might have also disbanded, so not sure who we're going to be playing against, but, you know, everyone on the team kind of understood that this LAN was just kind of going to be fun, and we were just going to do it for the sake of doing it, I guess, and no one really cared about really any other factor. They just wanted to go to Sweden, so we're doing it.
Awesome. That's a good mentality to have. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, you should know the Pyro update is 1 day away from dropping. Today we got a lot of juicy info. Banny, I know you put out a video about it. I watched it, but maybe just reiterate. What do you think your thoughts are on the changes? And I guess Habib and Mr. Cheeto can chime in as well. What do you think with Jetpack and the rest of the Pyro changes introduced today?
Go for it.
I think the biggest thing that the Pyro, like all these changes to the class will make, is his ability to be a little bit more mobile. So I think with the jetpack and like the Pyro, I heard he has like a new rocket launcher or something like that. He has like a Pyro launcher, and it's like a single fire, like a single action
fireball.
Yeah. So like I want to see. So I like that they're giving the Pyro more mobility while also retaining his long to or mid to long range combat skills. Because like if you guys think about it right now, like Pyro, the thing that carries him the hardest right now is like the shotgun or flares.
I'd
flare
say the
selection.
air blast.
Well, I mean the air blast is also pretty fucking crazy, but you know.
Yeah.
That's
what
just another mechanic.
Sigh was carrying in our RGL match today as a Pyro.
Yeah, that was
Pre-update
pre-nerf,
Pyro, so
yeah.
Yeah, nah, there's no update. It's already been updated. I was just playing it in our
Sigh's on the
GL match.
advanced patch.
Oh yeah, he has like exclusive
beta
beta
testing,
access.
yeah.
Yeah. He has like
Yeah.
a little key.
Well, I think Pyro actually might finally become a generalist tier class along with Scouts, Soldier Demo. It's the class needed mobility, it needed direct damage, and it seems like that's really what they were focusing on with these updates and these new items. So I'm pretty excited for it, and I think we as a competitive community need to actually put in some work to test these things during off season or run some separate testing groups and tournaments to get some valuable feedback before next season, so that we're prepared to get these things integrated into the game. So moving forward, that we're more just keeping the competitive scene up with the updates and all that. I think it's time that we just modernize things, open things up, and didn't fall further and further behind, especially when people are going to be starting to get more and more interested in TF2 with these big changes. That's when the competitive scene needs to be capitalizing on that stuff, and including people that are Pyro mains, that's the future boys.
Yeah. I definitely think making like the utility classes more viable for like full-time play is something that can be play tested a bit more and definitely changed. And if that happens, then it will really include a whole new player base. But yeah, our second server is also up.
Yeah,
by
we
the
actually
way.
have another match tonight. We're doing a double header, so we've got to head over to that in a minute here, or right now.
All right. One last question before you head out. When Pyro becomes a staple of the meta, who's going to be the Pyro man on froyotech?
Me.
It's not a question, dude. I'm already the Pyro
I
man.
feel like, yeah, I mean, we'd be open to some flexibility. I think we don't really know exactly where the class will sit within the sort of chemistry of the team and like the playstyle. It's not clear whether Pyro will thrive on the flank or getting pocketed or, being a playmaker. So there's a lot of options. You might see 2 Pyros on certain teams. You might see no Pyros on teams. I like the idea of Pyro just being an available and viable choice so that teams can play more to their strengths and personalize and specialize in their own playstyle.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in and talking with us. I'll let you get back to your next match. As for everyone watching at home, thanks for watching. Of course, we might have a cast tomorrow. Depends if the update breaks the ESEA server. My name's been Cornpop. I've been with Marxist and Gabe on production, as well as Banny, Habib, and Sigh here in the interview. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Okay.